Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're talking about a not well-known TV movie from the Batman series, Batman vs. Dracula.
The movie stays true to its title and has the Dark Knight go up against the original Dark Knight, the king of vampires himself, as he's accidentally reawakened and plans to turn all the citizens of Gotham into his army of undead slaves, and even wants Batman to become one of them.
You know, for kids.
This movie was awesome. I don't care how strange it sounds. I don't care how campy it sounds. This animated movie was frigging awesome. Action-packed, suspenseful, had that horror touch in it that it needed because we're talking about Dracula himself. Mm-hmm. This was a home run for DC.
And the thing was, they didn't play with Dracula because, you know, sometimes they tone it down for kids where you can't do certain things, you can't see certain things because of the audience. They didn't hold back on anything. He was still a bloodsucker, turned people into zombies, wanted a bride, wanted to rule everything, thought of himself higher than everybody, could mind control. He had the whole deal. Nothing was left out.
Right, and by the end of the movie, he wanted to kill Batman. He was not playing. He was like, I'm tired of you. You're gone.
Right. Because at first he wanted him to join him because he thought maybe he was another vampire.
Right.
So he said there's another bat here.
Right.
And he wanted him to join him, and he refused. And he really put up a fight because he had the super strength. So it was hard for Batman just to stay in that first fight they had.
Right. And we kept saying Batman is fighting Batman.
Right. Literally.
The Batman is fighting the Batman.
Right.
But it really was good. The animation was good, and as you told us in a previous podcast, this took place after the series The Batman that aired back in 2005.
Right. And it's not really as well known as the other ones, I think, because of its tone and stuff, but it fell along with a lot of the shows that came on during the 2000s, because back when we had action shows, you had the you had a whole selection of shows you want. You want a comedy, action comedy, or just strict action. You had a whole different selection of it. And this one went more into the horror phase because of the character they were dealing with. And like I said, and you could see them, and usually, you know, you don't see him bite anybody, but you get, well, most definitely he bit them, and they're a slave. But they had a few times where you saw them drinking the blood, but they couldn't paint it red, so they painted it black, or you couldn't see the whole thing. But no, when Joker was turned into a vampire, and it was like, oh gosh.
And that was the best part, Joker being turned to Dracula. Because if you think he's crazy on his own, he's even bat crap crazy as a vampiric Joker.
Right. And he was even harder to beat because he's already has somewhat more strength in this version.
Right.
But then he had that on top of super strength from vampire powers, and all he wanted was just to drink blood. That was it.
And in here he was voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. So you had a different tone than you would with Mark Hamill, but it fit. It fit for this bat crazy Joker. It fit. And you had Penguin in here also as well, who becomes Dracula's unwilling accomplice and slave. And it just went in a direction you never expected any animated Batman movie or live action Batman movie to ever go. I think it was a brilliant move, and again, it works. And unfortunately, we got some strange comments and weird stares from people. What are you watching? We're watching Batman vs. Dracula. Okay.
Whatever you say. What the fish is that? Why on earth are you watching that?
But it's only available, buying it on DVD, and we've pretty much only seen it used. We got it, and it had a slight defect, but it's okay. Because it was really, really a great movie. It's worth the investment. You can find it for as little as $4 plus shipping on Amazon.
Right.
If you love the Batman like we do, and you love DC animated movies, add this one to your collection. It's worth the hunt, and it's worth the buy.
Right. Because you don't really find it much anywhere. Or so I may have seen it or passed by. I think I may have seen it there, but yeah, it's one of those hard to find movies because the series isn't as well known as the other incarnations they've had.
Right.
But I'm glad that we got to see it and we found it because it was definitely not a disappointment.
And as usual, Alfred comes to the rescue. He's no less important in this movie than he has been in any other movie or incarnation of the series.
Right.
Alfred is Alfred. It's really just, and I know we keep saying, it is just an amazing version of a DC animated movie.
Right.
Never in a million years did I ever dream I'd be watching something called Batman versus Dracula.
Right.
Now I wish we had Batman versus the Wolfman, Batman versus Frankenstein, Batman versus the Mummy.
Right. Yeah, you got all these monsters. And what was funny is it was like looked like it was a little shout out to the show Supernatural, because they went to this location in the room where the dad had all these weapons that were just in case that could defect any monster they had, and they had the crossbows and the spears and the silver and stuff that could defect any monster just in case.
Right.
So you knew the monsters and stuff were real in that universe.
Right.
And they had adapted it all to his bat weapons, like his batarangs blades had garlic tips, and he had light bombs that he could shine in their eyes. And lots of other weapons to use against them, and silver. It was like really, they had to combine the weapons with the I guess you say the defense systems,
with the mythology,
right?
And Alfred even had a big band of garlic hanging at the front door.
Right, that was funny.
But another shout out, also probably your grandparents know, is to an actor who played Dracula many times, 60s actor by the name of Peter Cushing, who you also may have seen watching the original Star Wars movie, who was the lead general under the Emperor in the original Star Wars franchise, and who also, his face was put on an actor in Star Wars
Force Awakens.
Yeah, his family approved for marketing that his face be put on the body of another actor, so that they would, have this continuity they were trying to get. Creepy, but it was done. Right. So, couple shout outs, which I think was pretty cool.
Right. And like I said, they don't play around with the Dracula lore. It's just that sometimes it was hard for them to find what was true and what wasn't, because the lore has been around for generations. So they had to see like what was real, like the basic stuff of no light, no garlic, and the powers and stuff. Plus, they also introduced Vicky Vale for the movie. Right. Who's supposed to be the love interest for Batman in here.
And here she's a redhead instead of a blonde.
Right, and she's voiced by Tara Strong. And Dracula uses her to put the soul of his former bride that he had centuries ago to bring her back to life.
And that was a different take.
Right.
And I think it was neat also that they stayed true to the lore. Because you think about Twilight and other movies that have been made in recent times, vampires are out in the daytime, they have pearlescent skin, they get married and all these different things, but he was true to the Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee decade of vampire lore. Right. As you said, didn't play games, this is how it is, bring back the dead, have my servants, I'm a count, I am wealthy, everyone does what I want, and I don't play games. And then, one more shout out to the old original lore. Batman the detective figured out it was Dracula because he kept saying his name was Count Alculard. Well, in one of the original movies, again a shout out to Peter Cushing that I watched with our Nana many years ago, his name was Count Alculard, and you had to put his name in the mirror to see that his name was Dracula. So yeah, there was a lot of shout outs. Whoever was the person who produced or wrote this was truly a Dracula fan, a fan of the old monster movies, because they pretty much kept to the original concept instead of updating it, Twilight style and so forth.
Right, and it was taken very seriously. And we don't mind when they change it a little bit for different audiences.
No, I've seen all 3 Twilight movies.
And even though I don't care for Twilight, but
you've never seen it. I've seen all 3.
Oh,
so you're making an opinion as an outside viewer.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it and I don't think it's a vampire. Now vampires gotta be all glittery. Even though I'm not a horror fan, it was great seeing how they stayed true to Dracula, not making him like only half there or part joke, or making him super villain-like or something to fit with Batman. No, it was just Dracula as Dracula and Batman versus Dracula.
Right. I think the movie would have been something different if they had updated him or changed him. So it was a very smart move to go with the original lore. Kudos to DC for greenlighting this. Kudos to whoever wrote the script for the movie, and kudos to the voice actors because they really made it seem real. You knew you were watching animation. You knew you were watching one lore with another lore, but it was so good that you really got into the action and the suspense. And we were not ready for it to end. Of course, we were happy Batman won. You already know the outcome. It's not a spoiler. Batman always wins.
Right. Batman could go up against Predator and he'll win.
Batman always wins. So you know he won. But just the thrill of watching this movie, we were sad when it ended and we wished that it were longer. So this, again, is a great buy and it's worth checking out. And if you do get a chance to buy it and watch it, leave some comments for us and let us know what you think of it.
Right. Oh, one more thing I want to add. They almost hinted at in here, maybe it was a concept and they scrapped it. You kind of thought Batman was going to be bitten and turn into a vampire and he had to constantly fight it off. They didn't do that, but you kind of thought they were going to go. It looked like they were leading up to it because of the nightmares he was having. He was close to biting him and you kept thinking, okay, he's going to turn into an actual bat.
Right.
And it didn't happen, but actually that would have been pretty interesting to see. It wouldn't be like the whole movie, but like a scene or two or like a short segment of the movie where that happened.
Like Supernatural.
And see how that would have affected the movie. But still, final product was great.
Absolutely. So, that's it for now.
Yep, I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.